Now we move to the fourth lesson, that is the product and quotient rule. A quick reminder, if you have not watched the explanation for the lesson 3, please go back and watch. It is the previous video in this playlist. All the lessons are important to be watched in continuity from lesson 3, then lesson 4, then lesson 5, and so on. Now, we will start with this lesson. The learning objectives are to apply the product rule on derivatives, apply quotient rules on derivatives, and to solve real life problems using product and quotient rules. So these are the 3 objectives which we'll be covering in this lesson. And the keywords are product rule, quotient rule, revenue. Now here, product rule. Let me just show you the rule. See, now imagine before we look into the rule, let's see a problem. Here we have to derive x to the power 2 and x to the power 5. How would you derive it? Would it be, just add the powers x to the power 7 and then derive it will be 7x squared? Or you will just derive these two individually, that is x squared, x5, and then you just multiply the answers. It would be 2x over here, x to the power 5 would be 5x power 4, right? Now if you're thinking how this happened, this is from the power rule. Power rule says that anything to the power, say let it be n, this comes down, power comes down, and it will be power minus 1. So x to the power 7, that means 7 comes down, and it would be 6. 7 minus 1 would be 6. Same thing over here, x to the power 5, the 5 will come down and it will be x to the power 4. And say for example x squared just be 2x. Why? Because x power 1 is just written as x. Now if you multiply these, both will be 10 x to the power 5 here. Now you can see if we do it directly, like derive it both separately, and we simplify and then solve, we're getting 2 different answers. So which is the correct one? The actual correct one is this. So whenever you have such problems, you need to simplify this. The simplification is first. How do you simplify these? It would be x powers m, x power n. You just add the powers, right? x m plus n. So you add the powers, 5 plus 2, 2 plus 5 is 7, and then solve it. But what if it's a complicated problem? You can't solve them directly. You can't solve the powers or something. Then we use a rule, that is the product rule. So over here you can use u and v as simple understanding. Let u be the first function, v be the second function. Now imagine they can't be simplified easily. So you need to use the product rule, that is u dash, that is derivative of the first term, multiply with the second term as it is, plus second term and derivation of the second term as first term as it is, and the derivation of the second term. This is how you solve it. Now I'll repeat this. Here whenever you are using the product rule, you will have 2 terms, right? So you will have to derive the first term and then multiply with the second term, but this second term will remain as it is. So now let me use an example over here. Let me use this one only, x squared, x power 5. So what would happen? Derivation of the first term, that is 2x multiplied with x to the power 5 plus, now u will be as it is, x squared, and v dash would be derivation of that, x to the power 4. Now simplify this. Here it would be x x into x power 5 would be x to the power 6 plus 5, 4 plus 2 is 6. And now simplify this, it would be 7x power 6. So you can see this would be the correct answer. But this product rule is not used for simple problems like these if it's a complicated problem. Let's look into the problem now. Here, you can see the first term is so huge, second term is so huge. If you start multiplying them, it'll take ages. We just have to derive them, right? Use the product rule. What does the product rule say? Product rule is the first term will be derived, multiplied with the second term, plus first term as it is, and derive the second term. Look over here, when you have the 2 terms, one is derived, one is free. Original. One is derived, one is original. So if you're deriving this, second one will be not derived. In the next part, the one which was derived in the first case won't be derived. It'll be the original term, derived term. So now let's do this. Here, you need to derive the first term, COEF dash x, and second term as it is, plus first term as it is now, derivation of second term. How would you derive these? Here it is very simple. This 4 comes down, multiply it with 2. We have done this in the last lessons. 4 times 2 is 8. Directly, instead of writing 4x cube and multiplying 2 later, directly do it. 4 times 2 is 8, x power 3 minus 3, and this constant over here, since it's x power 1, it becomes only 1. Okay, and then this constant, if there's nothing, no x, it's always 0. It's plus 0. So you can just ignore that last part, plus 0, because it's 0. This term over here will remain as it is, plus 2 by x. Now here, this term, first term as it is, minus 3x plus 5. Now what about this? Here it will be 2x. First term is very simple. What about square root x? Remember, it will be, now if you're thinking how to exactly solve, I will just tell you, it's power half. So half comes down, it will be half x to the power 1 minus half, half minus 1 is minus half. So we don't keep it usually negative power. So what we do is we take it down. 1 divided by 2x power half. When you take it from the numerator to denominator, it becomes positive power, and then you can write it as root x, because power half is root x. Or else, whenever you're deriving this, please by heart this, make it in your mind. Always, whenever you see root x derivation, this is minus. Now this over here is 1 by 2 root x. You can just buy this because it does not change. Root x will always be 1 by 2 root x, and this is quite often you can find this square root x. Now what about this 2 by x? Bring this x up, it will be 2x to the power minus 1, right? Now derive this. Minus comes down, it will be minus 2x minus 2. So here it will be negative 2 divided by x positive square. So always remember, when you have, imagine this was 1, okay? Imagine this was 1. It would be 1 by x, that will be x power minus 1. This minus comes down, x power negative 2. Why? Because minus 1 minus 1. And this would be minus 1 by x squared. So you can directly write this. This is also, you can by heart it. Instead of plus, this becomes minus 1 by x squared. This would be the final answer. So you can see over here, let me just remove this provide. Here 4 comes down, 8x cube minus 3, this term as it is, and this term as it is. And what happens over here? 2x minus 1 by 2 root x minus 2 by x squared. This is what we have got. So this is the answer for the derivative using product rule. Now we have one more problem. This is similar to what we had done in the initial lessons. If you remember, in the lesson 1 and 2, we had same problems to find the tangent line. So now if you're thinking, what is the equation of tangent line? What is the slope of tangent line? You can go back to the lesson, but go back to the first lesson, but there we used huge formula. Now you can use such a easy method. Now here, I will tell you a few things. Equation of the tangent line is always given as y equals m. This m is slope of tangent. I'll write tan, m tan. Sorry, let me just write it like this. Tan, m tan. Multiply it with x minus x naught plus y naught. Now whatever is given to us is considered as x naught, and what is y naught? To find y naught, all you need to do is put this x naught value in this equation. This is 0, right? So when you put 0 over here, this is 0, 0, 0. Entire term is 0 multiplied by anything is 0. So what happens? This y naught equals 0. So that's how we do it. Or take out your calculators and put everywhere x is there, 0, 0 to the power 4 and everything. You will get the answer. So y naught is 0, x naught is given as 0, x and y will remain as it is. This m tangent is another important thing. What is that? Slope of the tangent line. Now you have the equation y, right? Derive this y dash. This is the slope of the tangent line. Whenever you derive, it's the slope of the tangent line. So basically you have to derive this and substitute x value as 0, whatever you get. Now I will teach you a shortcut. This, only for this, when the x values are given, you can use your calculator to solve it. You know how to solve otherwise, right? You have to just use the product rule and solve it. So we have done product rule just now. So I will teach you a shortcut now. Here is the calculator. You can just clear it out. It's better. I'll just clear this. Okay. Now that was the thing. Shift 9 equals an AC will clear your calculator. It's in default setting now. All you need to do is press the shift option and this symbol over here just below alpha. You can see d by dx. This is derivative symbol. Now you need to type this equation as it is. Let me use the bracket. X to the power 4, that's alpha x to the power 4 minus 3x square plus 2x. Now close the bracket and open the bracket again. And what is it? X cube. Shift and this symbol gives you cube directly. Minus 2 alpha x plus 3 and close the bracket. Now why it's important if I don't close this bracket, look over here. And I will put the x value as 0. I'm not getting the answer. Why? Because it's syntax error. I've opened and closed over here, but here it's open and the only outer one is closed. So I have to put the proper brackets, because one simple bracket will not give you the answer properly. And in the exam, you'll be so confused. You'll think, oh, this can't be solved or something, you know. So please be very careful about this. And now press equal to. So what happens is whenever the x value is given, now if you go back to the problem here, we can't use calculator. X value is not mentioned. But here they have mentioned x value is 0. So what we do, shift dy by dx and use x as 0 and solve. The derivative is 6. So now this tangent is 6. Y equals 6. What is this x value? As it is, minus x naught is 0. And what is this y naught? Plus 0. So let's simplify. Y is equal to 6 times x. This is the answer. You can so easily, if you remember only the tangent line equation, you can easily solve it. Look over here. You can use the product rule and then substitute the x value and get the same answer, 6 over here, with all the product rule done over here. And then ultimately we have to use this equation. This whatever is there, you can see over here. This equation, and the answer for the equation of the tangent line is y equals 6x. This is how we do it. Now that was about product rule. Please do solve more and more problems by yourselves. Please solve extra problems, practice thoroughly, and that is how you build on your problem solving skills. Now here, let's see the quotient rule. Quotient is division, right? Now let's see similar problems. 5 x to the power 5, x to the power 2. Now when you solve it, the rule says x power m divided by x power n is equal to x power m minus n. Whatever is up minus whatever is down. Sorry, that should be m minus n. Up minus down. 5 minus 2. It is x power 3. Now here, if you derive this, it is x 3 comes down, 3x square. But what if you divide them separately? It will be 5x power 4 to x power 1, and now here you will get 5 by 2 x cube, which is not equal. So now in this case, this is the correct one, the first one, because you need to first simplify and then derive. But what if it's a complicated one, you can't simplify? Then you have to use this quotient rule. Now what does this quotient rule say? The first term, just like the previous product rule, first term derived, multiplied with the second term as it is, minus, not plus, it's minus here, f of x, derivation of g of x. But the most important thing is divided by the denominator whole square. Let's apply the quotient rule for this term. what happens? The upper term is f of x. It's also written as u by v, that is equal to u dash v minus uv dash divided by v, denominator square, okay, that is v square. So make sure you remember this order. Now here the upper term derived is 5x to the power 4 multiplied with the denominator x square minus, what is u? That is x power 5. The denominator derived is 2x divided by denominator square, that is this one. Now over here we will simplify 5x power 6 minus 2x power 6 divided by x power 4. Now what is the answer here? It is 5 minus 2, it's 3. X power 6 divided by x power 4. Now 6 minus 4 is 2, so it is 3x squared. So this is the final answer. You can see this is the first one, correct answer. But this was simple terms. Yes, you can simplify. But what if you have problem like this? Now let's use product rule. We know the product rule is the first term derived multiplied with g of x minus f of x times g dash of x, means derivation of that, divided by g of x the whole square. Now derivation of the first term, sorry, this is derivation of this function. Now over here we split these terms. Now don't be confused, this and this is not same. This is the function we are deriving, okay? So if you're getting confused, you can just use u and v, okay? This is u dash v minus uv dash divided by v square, whichever is easy for you. Now the upper term, see, the first is upper term derived, it will be 2x, that's it. Okay, this is the derived of upper term multiplied with the second term as it is minus upper term and derivation of the lower term divided by what is g of x the whole square, that is denominator squared. Now here this one, right, this term you need to derive it as 2x, and let me just solve it over here. Just 2x, because minus 2 will become 0. It is 2x multiplied with x cubed plus 1 minus this term is as it is. Now what is this derivative? It will be 3x squared divided by, now let us keep this as it is and let's simplify. Multiply this inside. What's going to happen? Distributive property. Let me just check whether they have done it. Yes, they have multiplied it inside. The distributive property would mean it would be 2x to the power 4. X and x will be power 4 plus 2x minus, multiply this and this, it would be 3x to the power 4. Minus and minus will be plus. 3 times 2 is 6x squared divided by the denominator. Now this is the same thing. Can we simplify it further? Yes, we can simplify it further. We can subtract 2 minus 3. It would be minus x to the power 4 plus 6x squared plus 2x divided by x cubed plus 1 the whole squared. This is the final answer. You can see over here, minus x to the power 4 plus 6x squared. We write the higher order first and then the lowest order, that is 2x, divided by the denominator, the square of the denominator. This is how you apply the product rule. You can see this can't be simplified easily, so we use the product rule and solve the derivative easily. That's it. Now please make sure you solve more problems, take some practice problems and solve. Be thorough with this method. Now we will go to the power rule. Why power rule? Because you do not need to apply the product and quotient rule every time for each and every term. We can use power rule and simplify. Say for example here. Now you don't need to use product rule here in the first two terms. Why? Because you can use the power rule. It's x power 1 and this is x power half. So add these powers, it will be 3 by 2, isn't it? Or 1.5. Now use the power rule over here for the first term I'm talking about. This comes down, it will be 3 by 2, x to the power 3 by 2 minus 1 will be positive half. It's 1.5 minus 1, that's half remaining. So it is 3 by 2, 3 root x by 2, or 3 by 2 root x. So this is how we can easily solve it. Okay. Now there is one more thing. This next term, what is the answer over here? Plus what? Now here what you can do is 2, let it be x to the power minus 2. Let me bring it up. Now what happens when 2 multiplied with minus 2, x power minus 2 minus 1. So what happens? Here it will be minus 4 x power minus 3. This plus is gone, it becomes minus. Now here minus remains 4 divided by, let's take this down, it will be positive cube, right? So this is the answer. See, there are many simplifications. First of all, when you have these two powers, add them, it will be 3 by 2. Here, whatever is down, bring it up, it's going to be minus 2. Now here you can use power rule. Whatever is the power comes down, it will be minus 2, x power minus 2 minus 1. That's the power rule. Here also power rule, 3 by 2 comes down, x power 3 by 2 minus 1. Okay, so it is half. I have written directly. Now minus 2, 2 times minus 2 is minus 4, x minus cube, minus 3. So 3, you can write x power half as root x divided by 2 minus 4 divided by x cube. So instead of minus, it becomes plus when we take it down. That is the answer. So you can see that would be the final answer. Okay, here there is no much simplification. You can keep it like this. See, this step only stop. You do not need to simplify further. Now, whichever you, I've just done the simplification because sometimes your answer might be in this form, you know. So you can easily understand. But if it's this form, it's fine. That's also the correct answer. So this is it. Now we will look into some real world problems. We have over here investigating rate of change of revenue. Now suppose that a product currently sells for 25 dirhams, with the price increasing at the rate of 2 dirhams per year. At this current price, consumers will buy 150,000 items, but the number sold is decreasing at the rate of 8,000 per year. At what rate the total revenue changing? What rate is the total revenue changing? Is the total revenue increasing or decreasing? So now here the revenue is generally given as quantity into price. So now imagine you have certain item, plenty of quantities, say 100 quantity of an item. You sell it. For each price there will be a specific selling price. So when you multiply the number of quantity and the price you're selling, that will be the revenue what you're getting. So here you can see. Here now we know this is the formula, right? So revenue is R dash. Now they don't want this revenue or quantity. They want to know rate of change. Whenever rate of change is mentioned, it's derivative, isn't it? See, they have given you rate of change of increase, rate of change per year. The quantity is changing, and they want to see what is the total revenue changing, rate of change of revenue. So you need to derive this. This is the you need to derive. Now if you take this as R, this as Q, and this as P, sorry. Now use the product rule over here. R dash of T equals Q dash, now the first derivative of the first term, multiplied by the second term as it is, plus first term as it is derivation of the second term. That's it. Now here, let me solve it directly. If you look properly, the product currently sells for, this is the price. That's it. With the increase at the rate of 2 dirhams, this is P dash. Now the price is directly given 25 dirhams, okay? That is over here 25. But you can see P dash is 2 because it's increasing. Now what about the other one? At this rate, this current price, consumers will buy 150,000 items. That's the quantity. So this is 150, the quantity. But the number sold is decreasing by 8,000 per year. That is Q dash, quantity, rate of change of quantity. So this is what you need to solve for. That would be the revenue, rate of change of revenue. Let's do this in calculator. Here, all you need to do is minus 8 multiplied with 25 plus 150 times 2. and the answer is 100. So you can see over here, after you substitute, it's 100,000 dirhams per year. Now you can see this is positive, right? The number is positive. That means the rate of change of revenue, it's positive, it's increasing. So it's a profit, okay? So it's increasing. Basically, revenue is increasing. So this is how we solve this problem. Now we move on to the next problem here. You can observe in this problem the x value is given, isn't it? They have told all the details and they have given you the x values to solve. See, you need to find the derivative at these 2 points. So how would you solve it? Let's see. A golf ball of mass 0.05 kg struck by a golf club of mass m kg with speed 50 meter per second will have an initial speed of u of m equals this equation, meter per second. Show that u dash of m is greater than 0 and interpret the result in golf terms. Compare these two. Now this is the mass m. So you don't need to worry a lot, because whenever this x values are given, you can easily solve it in calculator. You can use the product rule and solve. Otherwise, just use your calculator over here. Now, since they want the derivative of this at where m, now instead of x we have m, 0.15. So all you need to do is shift and d by dx. Now here 83, let's use this division. Okay, 83x alpha x divided by x plus 0.05. Now here, what is the x value? That is the m value here, but we can't use m, so we use x here. It's 0.15. Now the answer for that directly is 103.75. You can see here the product rule is applied and simplified, and then you're applying m over here of 0.15 and getting 103.75. And what about the next value? Just change it to 0.2. And what is the answer? 66.4. Now here, this is the change. So you can see the graph would correspond to the same. Now, since they have told over here in terms of golf, you can read over here. See, as the golf ball mass is the same, but the club, the one which is used to hit, that club, so that mass is increased. As the mass increases, you can see the rate. This is the rate of increase in ball speed. This is what the speed of the ball, right, is decreasing. Why? Because heavier club than for heavier club it's low than the lighter club, because heavier clubs are harder to control relatively to small increase in the ball speed. Now basically, if it's a heavy club, it's very hard to control, and that's the reason the speed reduces as the mass is more. Now if you just change this over here to a bigger mass, say now let me make it to 5, you can see it's a reducing and reducing, because you will not have, it's very hard to hit with a heavier club, right? So that is what it is. So this is what it means. Mainly you need to compare. You can just tell as the mass over here increases for the golf club, the speed reduces. So that is the main understanding. And that's it. That's the end of this lesson. This lesson is basically an introduction for the product and the quotient rule. These two rules are very, very crucial for the next lessons. So please make sure you understand these two rules thoroughly, because in the coming lessons, you will have to apply not only this, even the previous lesson concepts. I hope this is clear. If you have any doubts, please post them in the chats, in the comments, and I'll get back to you as soon as possible. Until the next video, take care, guys. Bye-bye for now.